Okay, in this Fictional Friday, I want to talk about a lot of things, but the first thing I want to talk about is Age of Wonders 4. I've been looking at the dev diaries and I've been watching their little videos and their live streams on their YouTube channel. If you haven't heard about it, it's basically a 4X fantasy role playing slash strategy game. It just has a lot of things. So, of course, it's made by the same people who made Age of Wonders 3 and then Age of Wonders Planetfall. If you've been watching my channel, then you have seen my playthrough. And I'm excited about Age of Wonders 4 because it will be the first current game on the channel for us to play. So I'm going to pre-order it probably the first or second week of April. It comes out in the first week of May. I think May 3rd, and it should be fun. One of the reasons that I plan on getting it is it's fantasy and it's a role playing game. This channel is predominantly role playing games because we want to find insightful, good stories that help us out. So that's one of the reasons why we're getting it. Plus, it's a strategy game. We can learn things from strategy games. And most importantly, is that it has a good amount of mod potential. And even the developer and the game designers who were on their live stream thought about this and they mentioned that, and that it was mentioned in their dev diary because it's very modular, and modular games like that you can mod those different parts, and that's why I like PC gaming in general. It's because the mod capability keeps games alive. So let me first go into Age of Wonders Planetfall. Pull up the website. So we have Age of Wonders 4. This game is going to be amazing. So we go through it. It's going to be out on all the systems, but we're going to get the Steam version. This is if you pre-order it. This is not the important part. This is the important part. The important part is that you can create your empire however you want. There's three main things. The first one will be creating your form, well, picking your form, and that's going to be the typical models: halfling, elf, dwarf, human, cat people, rats, toads, and that's the first part. Then you'll pick your culture, and then you'll pick your tone, which is basically your research, but we'll get into this. I like this because this will be one of the games that will perfectly complement our different playthroughs. So now if we have a hero who's really popular from one of our playthroughs, then we can just make a version of themselves within the Age of Wonders group. I'm already thinking about that with Pathfinder. The only problem with that is that I can't create Vonnie, who is our current Pathfinder Kingmaker character, because he's a tiefling. But that's why I like getting Age of Wonders 4 potential, is you can easily mod the tiefling race into Age of Wonders 4. And I do expect other players to play it. And the dragon folk are coming in a future DLC. They did mention that. So you can develop your fantasy empire by mixing and matching tomes of knowledge. Tomes of knowledge is basically their research. It's been a while since I played Age of Wonders 3, but basically you'll be able to cast spells depending on what tomes you research, and these different tomes affect your empire on the strategy level and give you spells that you can use in tactical combat, similar to Age of Wonders Planetfall. When you do your research, you can research different things, and that could be strategic operations, which is the overworld map, and tactical operations. So strategy meets role playing. I'm starting to like these games. Age of Wonders Planetfall isn't really like this. And I did get CK3 and Mount and Blade Bannerlord. We'll get and talk about them later. But from watching CK3 and this little role-playing element with the story stuff based on what you do, it seems very interesting. So now it's combining strategy and role-playing, which are my two favorite game types. It's really good. And then you can make your mark on a vast reactive world. Everyone says that. But from what I've seen, it seems true. I'm really excited about the Pantheon system and see the potential in that because, as you've noticed, I like to play the campaign mode first for me to learn the game, learn the mechanics, choose the best decisions. So that's what I'm doing in Planetfall right now, and it's really helping me like decide like which factions and which secret texts I'm going to use to go on to their empire mode. The empire mode is where you get a commander, you send them to a planet to capture, and this game has similar potential with the Pantheon system. So if you're able to conquer a world, in other words you win, then they go into a Pantheon, and then those members of the Pantheon can compete against other many members of the Pantheon. They're called Golder. So that's also some good potential because I mainly play evil leaning characters, and it will be great if in the campaign, because the campaign is usually good, I play these good characters, they make it to the Pantheon, and then when I make my own character, they will be antagonists, which I like the potential for that. Well, I'll have to play the game and see how well it's executed. So that's basically your Empire to Greatness. And here's some different pictures they have on the website. You can always go to their website and look at these. Now, this is one of the things I like when I saw their live stream, to choose your own realm. You can customize the realm too that you choose to play on, but they have some pre-made realms which I would love to explore and do my own thing, because in one of their live streams they chose a realm that was like super good. It was like a good realm of unicorns, and of course, to do a contrast, their race was evil, so they were kind of hindered in that. And then in the latest live stream with their mystic elves, they chose an evil realm, and then they were super good. So that's also potential. So there can be a lot of potential for role playing. Then you have the factions. This is just different people, your different group, after you make all those connections. So you can have halflings, gnomes, but you don't have to be the traditional gnome or the halfling. You can mix and match. So instead of being a mountainy dwarf, you can be like a forest dwarf and like play a druid type faction, which is cool. And the rulers, which will be the main thing I focus on, because my plan is to take different characters from the other games I'm playing and make either my original plan was to do it in Planetfall, because Planetfall has the empire building and you can create your commander, but it looks like you'll have more control in this, and it's fantasy based, which right now we're playing more fantasy stuff, so it'll give me the chance to decide which one, give them the Planetfall treatment and the Age of Wonders 4 treatment, or do both, and just to keep the story of the whole channel all together. Now, the transforming your units, this is another thing I'm excited about. Depending on the tome you choose, they will evolve into those type of units. So if you're going through the frost tomes and you're going like frost tech, like frost elves, they'll turn into frost elves. In this case, it's an orc. I don't know where the demon thing comes from, but that's pretty cool. They can help with the tiefling stuff. Like if I chose, I don't think Bonnie's gonna turn out evil, but let's say Bonnie turns into a sorcerer. He is a sorcerer, but he comes and invades in Age of Wonders 4, and then influences his demonic heritage, because he is a tiefling. Influences the race that he decides to control. There's potential in that. And that's pretty much it with the tomes and stuff. They say they have like 54 different tomes and stuff like that. So it's really exciting, really put some good potential in that game. So that's one of the reasons, or all the reasons, I want to play it. A lot of potential in that. And as you know, this is going to be a longer thing, more like a podcast type style of Fictional Friday, because now I want to go into CK3. And the reason I got CK3 was for Elder Kings 2, and I play Elder Kings 2. I finally got Parallels 18, so now I can play Windows games on Mac. They run relatively well. Of course, they're not going, because you're doing the virtualization and all this stuff. So the graphics, like when you get the graphics mod, I'm using Skyrim as an example because I was able to fully mod that out. because there's an immersive and pure collection on Nexus Mods, and they have a large collection of mods that pretty much changes the game. Their visual overhauls are less graphically intensive, so it's probably why it doesn't look like some of the newer videos you see on the internet. But it does do some things, like it vamps up the combat and adds those are different things where you can dodge, and now you have directional movement. I really haven't played the combat like that, but I'm waiting to do a playthrough because I plan on this being my last playthrough of Skyrim. And when I say last, I'm really don't want to say last because there's a lot of DLC based mods that are coming out, like Sky Oblivion. But whenever I start that playthrough, it's going to be closer to when Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, because I feel like Elder Scrolls 6, they've been working on, it's been like what, 12 years right now, because Skyrim came out in 2011, because it was 11/11/11, so November 11, 2011. So I believe that a lot of people are going to get on that. I do plan on pre-ordering that game too. Maybe I have to see how things look as far as what's just going to showcase the potential and the state of the channel at that time. But it has a lot of potential. So when we get closer to that time, rumors say it'll come out in 2024. Then I read somewhere 2026. So like towards late 2023, we might start that playthrough. That's the estimate for the Skyrim thing, just to start it off, because I think Sky Oblivion will be sort of done by then or closer to done. Of course, we can start the playthrough and then over time, because it's going to be role playing playthrough. That's like how I like to do the games. I don't like to speed run and stuff like that. And it'll be excellent because that character will be a mainstay, like a poster child of the channel. Because right now we have Bonnie. Bonnie's my favorite character right now because Pathfinder Kingmaker. I'm just a big fan of Pathfinder. Like, of course, the other big games we played, it was like pre-made characters as far as the story is concerned. Like God of War, we played Kratos, not our own created character. And then there was Detroit Become Human, Marcus and Kara and the other guy that I forget and get the little goody two shoes. See, I don't remember the goody two shoes, but they were our created characters and stuff like that. And right now in Planetfall, we are just using the campaign characters, so we haven't created them on our own. Bonnie is our first character who we created ourselves, so he is the channel character. So I want to do that with Skyrim, come up with a name, and plus, since it's that role-playing single character experience, of course you can have companion. It'll be great for like different worlds. Age of Wonders 4 treatment, obviously, because the fantasy relates, and then maybe a Planetfall treatment. We'll see. So that's what I want to do with that for the Skyrim playthrough. Now, of course, I don't want to wait so long to get that Skyrim experience. So I got the Enderal mod. Well, it started off mod like 5 or 6 years ago, like before special edition. And I played a little bit of that. Now I'm about to get back into it. Enderal was a big thing. And hopefully it's still as fun as my nostalgia tells me. I didn't beat it that time, but I'm going to play it this time. And I'm thinking about doing more of a warrior because I always play magic users, and that way there will be some differences. And then I can take that character and give them a little update facelift. So I'm thinking about doing that because I want to have it in time for Age of Wonders 4 because I want a character. So I might start that playthrough April 1st. I don't want to do April Fool's Day, but I want to have that playthrough finished by the time that Age of Wonders 4 finished, and then that character will be like another character will try to ascend to the Pantheon. So I'll be coming up with character ideas. Let me know for character ideas as well, so I can think about things. So that's my plans with the whole Skyrim thing, the whole Elder Scrolls universe. The same thing goes with Crusader Kings 3, with the Elder Kings 2 mod. Now, I wanted to wait closer to the time when the new Elder Scrolls is supposed to come out, But the way I see it, I took a little glimpse through it. There are a lot of different missions and ages and stuff like that. So we can probably start that as soon as possible. But we can hold off until we get and make like a Elder Scrolls themed like entire like play things. Everything we play will be Elder Scrolls themed, fantasy themes, because I think that's like the best fantasy universe that I know of is as of right now. But we'll see depending on how good Age of Wonders 4 is. And plus we can connect it to and then Pathfinder. So there's a lot of good fantasy and it got a lot of good role playing. Now the next game is Bannerlord. Bannerlord, I'm so excited about playing Bannerlord. There's so many games to play, so many things to do. Bannerlord is a game I've been waiting for a while, and then I was waiting into it and things happened, so I didn't get it as soon as it came out. But I played Warband like this was 2014, 2015. Like it was been out, but I didn't ever like hear about it until like later on in his life. And I played a lot of the Fantasy Calradia mod because the Fantasy Calradia mod has, of course, magic spells. You can be a necromancer and your entire army could be skeletons and stuff. They go through the recruitment phase and stuff like that. The issue, and plus with the necromancer army, if you have undead and a human army, the human's gonna lose morale and stuff like that. So you're gonna have a whole necromancer army. That was amazing. You could have a fireball spell, you could have the magic missile spell. It was really good. There's another magic mod for Warband called Winds of Magic, and I want to try that one out. But first, of course, we're going to play the campaign so we can learn the mechanics without all the mods. So it's going to be a vanilla regular campaign, regular character, which is another thing that could be used. We could take an idea from Kingmaker and just make a Bannerlord version, or I'm thinking like we create the character in Bannerlord and then we move them on to Kingmaker when we get another mercenary, because we're definitely gonna hire another mercenary because the other companions are eventually going to want to go on to their own quest and all that stuff. We are even hinted at it when we finished that party from the Technic League and they tried to kidnap one of our characters. They knocked out Jatho and Jatho said, okay, I'll go with them down the line. And I was like, no. And then we killed them off. I'm very proud of that battle. If you haven't seen it, then go watch it. I think it was episode 3 or 4. You have to go check. So that's for Bannerlord. So there's a lot of potential with that. Solasta, I didn't know Solasta. I bought Solasta too. I didn't know that they did not go to level 20. So what kind, like, how would I know that? I didn't like super look into the game because I looked at the different videos the Let's Play people did, and they didn't mention in the first couple of videos. So, because it's like weird. Why would you create a game that doesn't go all the way to level 20 at release date? I will say is they did something really different than Kingmaker. The graphics, the voice acting. Of course, Kingmaker has voice acting too, and then the character creation. But the difference with Solasta is that you create your entire party. So there's no pre-scripted, your character's playing as this, from what I know of, as far as companions as well as too. And then you pick the voices and stuff like that. And then they use those voices with the dialogue. It's really cool. So it's like shows potential. Like if Solasta, but we'll get into that. But if Solasta meets Kingmaker, it can make games and make the game much better. I like the idea of like taking the good qualities of these games and just merging. So there's a lot of potential, like if they ever got together, or if someone just came along and try to update it like that. My only issue is, it's really not an issue, is Solasta is based off of the 5th edition rule set, and there's things I like about 5th edition and things I like about Pathfinder. And ideally, I want to make my own system that combines the two. One of the major things is the cantrips suck in Pathfinder. 5th edition, the cantrips are better. But I think Pathfinder like gets away with this because you have more spell slots than fifth edition. So it's like, but in the lower game, it's like you're gonna be using the light crossbow because you want to conserve your spells and stuff like that, or you can rest more, which I could start doing. But if you're trying to clear out a mine, then you're in the mine, which I am. My party is in right now. You're trying to clear the mine out, and then you're like, oh, I'm out of spells, I need to leave. It's kind of a drag. So it'll be great if I could just use cantrips, which fifth edition does right. Another gripe that I hate about fifth edition, which is why I reject fifth edition. Hopefully, Baldur's Gate 3 doesn't make this too horrible, but in Solasta they make the problem is the sorcerers and the wizards. They basically nerf sorcerers and made them trash because they don't get the same spell as a wizard does. Now I can understand some of that as far as wizards. There's some spells that were specifically created as by wizards and you have to study and do stuff like that. But from what I understand, if you're a sorcerer and you're good at magic, then it doesn't matter if it was created by a wizard. Your innate ability can make you replicate this spell, and you could learn it. You can put some research in, but really the sorcerer is just an innately magical wizard. So they should be able to cast the same spells. And that's an issue in Solasta because as a sorcerer, you can't get the identify spell, which I've read and all this stuff. And a lot of people don't like that. So there's specific classes you have to choose, specifically only 3. The wizard, the cleric, if you want to do the insight domain, and or it's just knowledge, either insight or knowledge domain. Or you play a rogue shadowcaster. Now, I didn't know that because I was going to go with Ranger, Sorcerer, Paladin, Cleric because I don't like playing wizards. But now I'll just go Sorcerer, Rogue, Cleric, and Paladin. That's another thing I don't like about Solasta. It's not an issue with 5th edition, but it's just it limits you to 4. So I can't put a Warlock in a party. So Solasta falls short. They're going to release the Tieflings in a new update that's going to come out May. So that's why I'm not going to play with Solasta now, because I'm waiting until that update comes out. That way I can pick a Tiefling as one of my races. I won't be able to bring that character into Age of Wonders 4 until they come out with the mod that brings Tieflings into the game, which I'm pretty sure someone will mod to add the race because it's a typical fantasy race. Aasimar, typical fantasy. Tiefling, typical fantasy. The developers are going to bring the Dragonkin or whatever race they're going to call it into the game on their own when that expansion comes out. So that's the state of Solasta. And those are the major games that are for this channel. Of course, I got some other games on Steam still, like Humankind, which is exciting, but that's going to be put on the back burner because we have all these story-based games which are very interesting. We're still doing the Kingmaker playthroughs every episode, so it's going to be every day. And we're going to do Age of Wonders Planetfall. We're still doing that. We're still playing through it. But since those are longer videos and the missions are longer, it's going to be Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we have like 5 more missions until we finish the first campaign. So I don't know how many missions are in the other little sub things. So we might bump that up, but my goal is, and it's going to be done. So basically it's going to be done. Age of Wonders Planetfall, all the campaign missions and all that stuff, plus the DLC missions are going to be finished before Age of Wonders 4 come out because I want to have that finished. So that's going to be finished by the end of next month. So don't worry, we'll have all the videos. We're going to start Age of Wonders 4 freshly and play the thing. And I know the different campaigns are going to be long, so we're going to do it like in like videos like Kingmaker. So we're not going to complete a campaign mission because I don't think you will be able to complete them like that in Age of Wonders 4. I'm just really excited about Age of Wonders 4. So there's that. And then I'll let you know whenever I plan on starting the other games, Bannerlord and CK3 and Elder Kings 2 thing, or Enderal. I'll let you know. I probably will start Enderal sooner because that's like a side thing. It is not a corner piece, but it'll give us some Elder Scroll thing. And then I'll play it on here and then I'll give you my thoughts and everything. So I'll let you know. Of course, the other games, you don't even have to worry about the PS5 games right now because the Spider-Man is like, I haven't been playing it because we have some other stuff to do. And right now, we have some good games. Kingmaker is amazing. So that's where we are. I hope you enjoyed this Fictional Friday. If you prefer the more podcast type talks where we're just talking instead of trying to like give like a news type thing, even though we include news, then let me know which one you prefer. Would you prefer the longer videos or the shorter videos? But that is all. Thanks for watching.